What is up, my Gaggle of Geeks, and welcome to a new episode. We're back, and Happy New Year's to everybody. Wow, we pulled stuff. Yeah. Happy New Year's to everybody. We're back, and we have been on a hiatus for quite a while. First, let's bring in our special guest, Chaz. We have Cole here. He was on Patrick Beatty Reviews just a minute ago, and yeah, now we're talking. I've got confetti all over the computer. What did I do? I didn't plan that out, man. I just had a ton of things. And anyway, welcome. How's it going, man? Is he there?
Hey, Patrick.
Hey. And Chaz, my friend. We made it through another year.
Yeah, we didn't Betty White.
Yeah. You sound different. You have a Kylo Ren tone again.
Do I have Kylo Ren tone?
A little bit. It's not bad. I mean, if you sound like Adam Driver, I mean, it's not really a diss, you know?
The trick is to look like Adam Driver in The Last Duel.
That's true. With that lush, you know what? Chaz has a luscious mane. You both actually do. So whenever we do the in person next, it's just gonna be like the male pattern baldness on me, and then like the two vital and young people are like, yeah, we're healthy and we do things, and yeah. Anyway,
have good genetics.
Have good genetics. But Chaz, should we catch people up a little bit? What have you been up to?
Dude, I've just been writing a lot and living life, I guess. Trying to avoid COVID as best as I can.
Man, I mean, we got to do like bullet time dodges for COVID right now. Which, speaking of which, do you like my
where'd you get
Matrix Resurrections? My good friend Richard over at Vox 13, I let borrow some of my camera stuff, which is why we're not doing it all in person right now. But he brought in a couple tote bags and an extra large shirt for Matrix Resurrections. So I was like, yes, I could use that right now.
Oh my God.
Is that it? You know, it could be that might be on one of your guys' top 10 lists. Maybe.
It's not mine.
Could it be really?
How do you get a job here, face?
Yeah, it probably isn't. But we do have a lot of picks, and I think we should probably just jump right into it. We don't. There's. Well, you know what, Chaz, we got to do this. We got to do this for all time's sake, and because there is news, and we do need to pay tribute. So I'm gonna cut it to
the news say with Chaz.
It's been so long since that's happened.
Right? It feels good. The news with Chaza. And sadly, this isn't the funnest news. And it's a real FU to the end of the year, Chaz.
Yeah. Dear Betty White.
Our golden girl.
You will be missed.
I
almost had 2 pieces of toast when I read the news because she's older than sliced bread, you know, supposedly. According to Facebook.
Boo. Boo. I want to go around the table, and Cole, what was your first interaction seeing Betty White in any type of medium? What were you watching, and what do you think of her career?
I mean, well, yeah, first would have had to have been Golden Girls, right? Like, so Community is my favorite television show of all time, and I came into it on NBC during season 2, and so I thought that Betty White was just like a part of the thing, and then she was just gone after one episode, and then I got caught up later, and I realized it was just kind of like a special little Betty White thing. But first for everyone that's younger than like 40 should be Golden Girls, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you would think.
Hopefully. Oh, well, you know, most people know her now from, you're right, Community. She played a huge part in it. Me, personally, was the show called Boston Legal that was a lawyer show, and she was wonderful in that. Chaz, what was your first encounter?
It was actually a comedy roast, like the Comedy Central roast. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, who was the roast for?
I don't remember who it was for. It was like way back in the day, but she was like a vulgar old lady, and my parents were all laughing, and I'm like, I don't get any of what she's saying, but she's really raunchy.
Mm-hmm. Well, when you see the compilation stuff, because everybody was throwing around clips and stuff yesterday, which is usually what happens when a famous loved personality passes away, they show their best works, right? I
Right.
didn't know that she had a talk show, that she was the host of a full talk show, and I think it was one of the first. She was probably one of the first women to be on and doing that, and her pioneering the way in so many ways for not only her gender and being able to like usher in more people getting those opportunities, but just like doing it all with the most fun sense of humor, the most kind of carefree attitude towards life, while still having this energy that feels like you're with, like, there's somebody great, right? She always
Right.
had that feeling of being someone that was great. So we just wanted to, I guess, call attention and say RIP, pour one out for her. And man, fuck 2021, man. That was so not cool to do that. Like right at the last minute, we all get kicked in the groin. Anyway, let's move over to what we're here for. We're talking about the movies of 2021. There have been a lot of films that have come out this year, and boy, there's a lot to discuss. But what we're going to do, we're doing a top 10. All of us are going to reveal our 10 from 10 to 6. And then from there, we're going to go 5 to 2. And then we'll reveal our number 1. So let's start with Cole with your top 10 through 6.
You got it. So rapid fire. My favorite thing about putting together top 10 lists is cheating and managing to get more than 10 movies into it. And so my 10
honorable mentions are
slot,
okay.
my 10 slot is going to be The Fear Streets on a Netflix as a unit. All 3 of them. For the record, my favorite was 1978 because I grew up on those old, real, just like pure slashers before they got kind of meta in the 90s, which is actually what should be my generation. But all 3 Fear Streets just worked so well together. And the fact that I got to binge them kind of all at once made it even better for me, because if I had to wait a year between them or a couple years like we normally would in the movie business, I might forget some of the really intricate, I guess, Easter eggs and other things that they put in there. So that's my cheat pick. I carved out 10 to give you 3 different movies: Fear Streets, 1994, 1978, and 1666. Number 9 is Stillwater with Matt Damon. Number 8 is the earliest movie on this list, and it kind of sparks a question of like, well, number 8 is The Map of Tiny Perfect Things, which came out on Amazon Prime in like February or March, but also begs the question if you guys will be including other like early 2021 movies that we.
Oh, are we
as a
going by the
group
Oscar
kind of-
year, or
Yeah, because
no?
I
You know,
don't have
Judas
Judas and the Black
Messiah
Messiah.
can count in this. You know. Yeah, because it was a weird rule to begin with. We were
Yeah.
doing it because of the pandemic, and we were extending the time for films to be included in that year. And yes, maybe the pandemic is still kind of going, but we don't have to abide by this. The Academy's stupid. They didn't give Chadwick Boseman an Oscar, and you know that still hurts when I still think about it. It makes me really upset. So
Yep.
fuck them.
It hurts that the better performance got the Oscar for Best Lead Actor. Is that what you're saying?
Shit.
Number 7 is Licorice Pizza, and then my number 6 is Coda, Child of Deaf Adult.
Jeez. All right. We're gonna go to number 6, man. All right, we gotta go.
Dude.
We gotta go. Oh, Chaz, what do you have to say about this?
Well, I haven't seen Stillwater or Coda or Licorice Pizza.
You haven't seen Coda?
I haven't seen Coda yet. I know it's on Apple, but
Apple TV waiting for you.
What the dude?
I know.
Oh, well, now I need
I
to
feel
know.
like
What are
there's so
yours, Chaz?
Well, I mean, there's so much, stuff surrounding it, and I'm like, do I need to watch it now though?
What stuff? You mean people genuinely liking it?
Yeah, I mean, there's so
That's
much
so
praise,
annoying.
and I'm like, I feel
You're
like I already
saying
know the
that's so
movie,
annoying.
just hearing people talk about it so much.
This is the guy that demanded everyone must go to a theater to see Dune. If you don't see Dune, it's the worst thing on the planet. And then a genuinely good independent darling comes out, and you're like, too many people like it.
I wish I could temper expectations. I wish that Coda wasn't in my top 10 because it's weird that it's getting so much attention.
Oh,
But
you two are. Oh my god.
No. But it's one of those sweet little movies. Like I don't think it should be nominated for Best Picture, even though it's one of my 10 favorites. Because
Chaz,
it's just,
what's your top?
it's a
I'm not
sweet
listening
little
to this.
movie. Not every good movie needs to be Oscar-y and things like that.
We're gonna
agree, dude.
screen grab
agree.
my face on that one because, like, I think my mustache curled into. I've never seen that before. My God, Cole,
It's
this
my
is-
sixth favorite movie. I love Coda.
I gotta break away, or else I'm just gonna keep. I haven't even begun to debate with this. But let's go, Chaz. What is your 10-6?
Okay, at number 10, I have Bo Burnham Inside.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, that was a really fun flick. And then number 9, I have Judas and the Black Messiah.
Nice.
Then number 7, no 8. Number 8. Ignore me. Right? 1, 2, yeah, 8. Godzilla versus Kong.
Attaboy.
It's
Wait, who was it?
Godzilla versus Kong.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
And then 10, 9, 8, 7. Number 7, I have No Sudden Move. I had Del Toro and
Del Toro. Yep.
really cool Soderbergh movie. And then I have Pig at number 6.
Number 6, huh? Okay. This is called the top 10, where I outwardly judge both of you immediately after your picks come out. Now you guys can bring the hammer. Was there any observations that you have for the top 10 that Chaz has, Cole?
My observation is that he obviously doesn't have the ranking setting flicked on Letterboxd, since he had to like count through instead of just looking at the little number that it'll put on there for you.
Oh, no, I have it. The list order is not. It's just, yeah. You know what? Hold on.
Go ahead,
Oh.
make your excuses.
Got it. I got it. Don't ignore me.
That's
fixed it.
amazing.
So, like I said right before I talked about Map of Tiny Perfect Things, Judas and the Black Messiah, I officially put on my 2020 list, along with Nomadland and Minari, and other movies that technically had their wide release in 2021, but were part of the 2020 awards season. So I did love Judas, and amazing performances across. It's just that would have been in my top 10 from last year.
Well, and I'll be honest, I would consider any movie that comes out in limited release. I know this isn't the status quo, but anything that came out in Sundance came out that year. Like the minute that a couple audiences, like 2 theaters worth,
I don't know.
it comes
dude.
out that year.
It's gonna be
That's when it
debatable
came out.
I have a film on here that came out in Sundance in 2020 that didn't get a release until.
You talking
this
about The
year.
Father?
No.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
So, this will be up for debate.
Hey, I'm all for the debate. I also, about yours, Chaz, I do really like that you have Bo Burnham Inside in there. That would be in my honorable mentions, but I don't know. I kept having the debate of like, can we consider a comedy special a movie? Like, what is? Because they kept having the argument during our meeting for voting about his score and whether that's like a soundtrack or it should be considered best score. What is this actually? So,
I'm all for Inside being a movie. The problem is it's like my least favorite comedy special that he's done. Like I would watch What, and I would watch Make Happy like 100 times on loop. This was more cinematic and it was more of a movie than those which are just a filmed comedy special. It just didn't speak to me the way his other stuff has. So
it is different.
So it's not
it
on my
like
list.
totally, completely different. And they filmed the whole thing on the Nightmare on Elm Street house, which
Love it.
that changes the whole thing too.
Wait, what?
You didn't know that? So they filmed that. He was staying in the same house where they filmed A Nightmare on Elm Street.
What?
Yeah, that is no joke. When he was quarantining, he was doing it in the Nightmare on Elm Street house.
Well, no wonder he's so fucking depressed in that movie.
Yeah, like that. The energy just made him depressed through the whole thing. It's like, I need to feel this. I'm too busy going to private islands and stuff when I'm bored.
That's funny.
He has real depression. I shouldn't dismiss that. But let me go through mine. Number 10, I put Dune, because when it finishes, when the movie is complete, then I will decide its final fate. But you can't deny the scale, the unadaptability of this being adapted. I just wish they didn't put Zendaya in the marketing as much as they did. In the Heights, I put as number 9. I think that was a fantastic musical. I have a lot of music-centered films this year that I was very much into. And yeah, In the Heights was great. The Harder They Fall is my next, followed by 9 Days. Winston Duke was incredible in that film. As well. For my number 6, The Power of the Dog, which I thought was very twisty and very engaging from beginning to end. And it's one of those films that when you rewatch it, it completely takes on a different level than what you did the first time you watched it, because you're going back, you're checking things, kind of like The Usual Suspects, right? Where once you see it the first time, then go back the second time, you know everything. You're kind of looking at the clues more.
I'm surprised you've stayed awake through that.
Dude, it was good. Well, and here's the other thing. We saw it in the theater, so we got the scale of those New Zealand landscapes and stuff. Oh my God, it was so good.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely not on my list. Anyway.
I mean, I had In the Heights in my top 38 is what it looks like. So kudos to that movie.
I'm feeling it.
All right.
Question for you though, sir.
Yeah.
With Dune being at number 10, I'm glad it's on your top 10 regardless.
You see, I thought you would appreciate that it's even there to begin with, because I can appreciate the stuff. That little singing, I can jive with that. That's on my playlist.
They already yesterday, because you know how like the New Year's Eve they have like, if you start this movie at this time at 12 o'clock, you know, it'll be at this scene exactly. They already had a meme for that throat singing scene.
Really? That's funny.
Yeah.
We are in Dune.
Okay.
Hamburger, cheeseburger.
Right. You can just kind of say whatever you want. All right. Well, let's move into our 5 to 2. Cole, give me what you got.
Number 5, Pixar's Luca. Number 4, I have Antlers.
Oh, cool. I'm glad you have Antlers in there.
Number 3 is Spider-Man 3, Spider-Man No Way Home, the new Spider-Man 3. And number 2 is Being the Ricardos.
Whoa. That's fascinating. So I love that you have Luca in, because I haven't seen Luca in a lot of places, and I do think that's kind of one of the underrated Pixar films, right? Where it's not really a big grand scale of anything, but it's just like a very charming film.
Yeah.
I mean, they were getting too big and grand. Like the Finding Dory was fun, and then at the very end they feel like they have to do a big chase scene, and it's an animated kids movie, not an action set piece that we have to have. Like Luca was sweet and told a perfect allegorical message, and it's a good movie. Like it doesn't have to have, it's animation, it doesn't have to show us amazing things. The fact that the water looked so good and that the little sea monsters looked so good coming in and out of the water, that was pretty enough for me to check the visual box. And then the script was the good part.
Yeah. Call Me by Your Name, the Pixar story. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I liked Luca. I thought it was really cute. It's a good family movie, you know.
Now, I also want to ask, being the Ricardos, does that mean that you were a pretty big fan of I Love Lucy, or is this like an Aaron Sorkin, like you're a big fan of his writing and stuff like that?
Yeah, both. So Sorkin's my favorite person to do anything, and his, similarly with what I just said about Luca, is I care about script and I care about dialogue and I care about the rhythm of the English language and the way it is spoken out of true professionals more than I care about like the way that Dune looks. I got all the way from 10 to 9 without mentioning it, and it's not going to be number 1. So I much prefer smart, funny people witticisming at each other than I do looking at deserts.
Even though they're real deserts.
You know, I admire that you have Aaron Sorkin on your top, because everybody on Twitter, I haven't seen the movie yet, but everybody on Twitter seems to hate it. So I think that's really cool.
Don't they
It's
have issue with
refreshing to
Nicole
hear.
Kidman that she just doesn't look like Lucy to them? I don't know. That was one of those Twitter. We could probably have a top 10 of Twitter annoyances from the year, because there's some pretty fucking stupid crap that was going around.
Yeah, I
Looking
try
at
to
you
stay
in the
away
Heights
from
haters.
what Twitter and Letterboxd consensus for those things, because I like movies and I liked them before anyone else told me what I was supposed to like, and so I'm going to stick to that. And what I like is Sorkin.
That's cool.
And Nicole Kidman, she doesn't look like Lucy. That's true. But she sounds like her. There's a scene where it goes through like Lucy's backstory, and she's doing a radio drama. And Lucy had such an amazing, Lucille Ball's voice was great in that time when people were still just listening to the radio so much, and then it was making them transition into TV, and they were capturing all of these audiences. And she captures the voice so well, especially in that scene, and then it carries through. The way you can embody someone without imitating them whenever you're playing a real life person.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That brings me a question then. Like, was it 2019's Oscars when the year that Parasite won all those awards, or was it 2020?
2019.
Yeah,
it was 2019. So
February of 2020. Yeah,
everybody was
Renee's-
generally happy in the audience then.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, was it who won the Best Actress? Was it Witherspoon or was it Zellweger?
I think it was Zellweger.
Yeah, she
Judy.
won the Best Actress for film. It was biography, right? But I don't think she looked anything like the person that was based off of.
Oh
too,
yeah,
you know?
she was. Oh, who was she?
it was Judy Garland.
Julie
It was that
Garland. Yeah.
one. Yeah.
So just throwing that out there, like you don't really have to look like, and like I think Aaron Sorkin knows enough film to like try to embody it, like you said, Cole. So it's refreshing to hear that you have that's on your list.
His is a very unique list. And from what I've seen and been around so far with everybody's stuff. But Chaz, you probably have a very unique list as well, because you weren't also going to like all of these screeners and stuff. You were very choosy about what you were watching this year.
Yeah,
Don't look at me like that. You were choosy. You were
a lot of my top 10s are actually found on HBO Max at one point. I realized.
Hey, well, and that's another plug. HBO Max was awesome this year, was it not?
Yeah. Number 1, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Oh, dude, you don't know our history with that. With that crap. We bring it. Oh yeah, we throw that in the mud often, and then I have to try to defend it, and I feel gross defending it because I'm the only one that has a point against it. Because I have to make it interesting instead of us just trashing it. And then those people come after us. And now they want a Batfleck movie. Fuck you guys. We're done. We're done with that. Okay. He's going to die in Flash and y'all are going to be sad. But Michael Keaton's in there and he's like your daddy. He's going to come and take you home. And he's going to be like, I'm sorry I left you, but here I'm back.
I really hope everybody hates Michael Keaton's performance and then just give
Shut up.
Just give it all to Robert Pattinson at this point.
Shut your damn mouth. They both belong. They both belong. What's your 5-2?
Okay, 5-2. Number 5, Malignant.
Nice.
Yes.
Fun with that movie. It was so absurd, and just I hope to see more of it or some more of that style. I guess this isn't on my list, but what's it called? Last Night in Soho or whatever.
Yeah.
It's similar vibe to that almost, where it's really kind of playing with style. So, anyways, number 4, The Green Knight. I love artsy fartsy medieval stuff. I know.
Comrade.
Yeah. But it's an interesting theme thematically, like in that era, because like at number 3, I have The Last Duel with Adam Driver and Matt Damon, which I thought was really cool and underrated. And then number 2, this is my argument with you, Patrick, maybe, is The Night House was released in Sundance in 2020. But nobody heard of it until it was released in August of this year.
I rented that and I missed the deadline to watch it too. I was going to try to watch it before this so that I could actually talk to you about it, but yeah,
I have it on my Voodoo. I could give you my Voodoo login if you want.
We'll speak after class.
Okay. But and that's another movie where I just was blown away. And when it came rentable, I forced my parents to watch it, and I was just like, "You have to watch this." So.
Nice. I very much like your Malignant choice. That was a fun pick, and the movie is so silly. Like when it turns, it's so good.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you were talking about like trying to watch things before the deadline. Like normally, I don't hammer in my official list of the year until the Oscars happen because there's so much that doesn't hit wide release until January. Like if I miss out on a screen or whatnot. But before I did this, I actually watched The Last Duel last night because I was hoping beyond hopes that it would be in my top 10, and I loved the way they broke them out into the 3 chapters. I love the idea of what is truth. I love the themes it was trying to do, and the performances were really good. It just like totally fell apart in places for me where I wanted to skip through it and just get past what we were doing, and I was disappointed. But maybe it's because I had too high of expectations. For people that are like overlooking it, it's still a wonderfully put together movie, and it's in my top like 20-ish. But
I think it's because we're just crappy millennials. Ridley Scott's he got our number, us millennials.
Well, dude, that's what's most impressive too is he hammered out the last Duel and the House of Gucci back to back essentially for like a month, like almost like a month apart release, you know.
Mm.
And they're not short films by any means either. I mean, they're both lengthy. So I don't know, dude. The guy's
Did
fucking
you watched House of
82.
Gucci yet?
Not yet. I know. I don't like Jared Leto though, so like I'm really just kind of like I'll hate watch it maybe.
Yeah.
So,
but I will say, speaking of Jared Leto, Zack Snyder's Justice League is in my honorable mentions. Moving on, we're going to our top 10. And, I'm just kidding. My 5 is Spider-Man: No Way Home, because I do think it was great, even though there were some contrivances with some characters that I didn't feel was justified. Shang-Chi is right after that. I think this was incredibly impressive for a character that was inherently racist, and there was no real good way to introduce him completely ripped off the page. They had to start from a page 1 rewrite, and Wen Wu as a character and Tony Leung is incredible. That opening sequence with him and the mother doing their impressive stuff, Michelle Yao, it was awesome. And as I mean, a point of personal preference, I guess, is I got to do the interview with Andy Lee, and that was a huge part of this year, and doing Fan X. So it's got to be up there.
sponsored by Patrick's interview.
Pretty much sponsored. Go check out the Andy Lee interview. My number 3, Tick Tick Boom. That's right. It was incredible for me. Much like Bo Burnham on your top 10, Chaz, I think the turning 30 motif was just hit me too hard this year because I turned 30. And especially going through the times where you're like, where am I going to find money? Where am I going to find a good career place to also do the things you're passionate about? And how you really just need luck and networking. And it's just insane to, I don't know. It's insane to be working towards stuff like that while also you see him missing the things with his friends and family and how that affects him. And Andrew Garfield is having the career best this year, in my opinion. Like from Spider-Man to Tammy Faye over to this, guy's impressive. And my number 2 is Pig with Nicolas Cage. I just popped that P. Pig. He was. The movie's incredible. I think I've seen it 4 or 5 times now, and each and every time doesn't get old. I still tear up. I still love the dinner scene where he's at the restaurant. That's probably going to be one of the top best scenes of the entire year, right next to the Malignant action scene. And right next, like, there's a few crazy scenes this year, and this one was the one where not a lot happened. It was still very impactful. So with that said, do you have any?
I think Pig's marketing was probably the most genius because
to make
they were
it feel like John Wick.
Yeah, it was like a John Wick revenge flick, and it's the complete opposite of that in all ways.
Well, and they weren't even lying. They were just kind of leaning into it being Nick Cage, and everybody's brain just kind of went to, he's going to be unhinged. This is going to be some type of crazy revenge thing because it's Nick Cage. But if they had marketed it more to seem like a boring thing, nobody would have gone and seen it. But instead, everybody saw it and were shocked and surprised.
Yep.
That's
and delighted.
So weird that you're talking about the marketing because I don't remember a single promo image or anything from. I remember seeing more about Nick Cage's like Five Nights at Freddy's movie from this year than I did.
That was really heavily
Pig.
Marketed.
Willy's Wonderland.
But that's the kind of genius that Chaz has mentioned, because like it's a poster and a trailer. That's all they really had for it, and then they let the word of mouth that, oh, Nick Cage is in a pig hunting movie. That's crazy. Like that's what they let the word of mouth marketing go through.
It's just somebody steals his pig, and then like you instantly think John Wick. Like, oh my god, what? You know,
he's going to get his pig.
And who doesn't want to see Nick Cage go unhinged to get a pig back? Like that's marketable to me. Like.
Well, and it was a year of unhinged stuff. Like Prisoners of the Ghostland was unhinged.
Oh, that was awful.
No, it was great. And y'all just don't like that. And Titan, that's also an honorable mention for me because I thought it was great. But let's go into our number ones, and then we'll go into our most anticipated 2022. So Cole, what is your number 1 film of this year?
Well, it has been mentioned, and it was mentioned because it was personal to you, and it's personal to me too. Tick Tick Boom is my number 1 that I've seen so far. Andrew Garfield's performance, we like briefly talked about it when we were going through Spider-Man, but I didn't want to give too much away. I loved every second of it. And I love the general framework of how you're able to bring an autobiographical one-man show to a movie, because you start off in that where he's just talking to an audience, and then we get some of the music from this unreleased musical that he had. We get like the whole framework of the musical while still making obvious reference to the better known musical that Jonathan Larson's about to write, and that's Rent, that I certainly grew up with as like a theater going, like theater kid millennial also. Just like seeing them all in the apartment singing about Bohemia, just brought back my good Rent nostalgia, and seeing just the way that, you know, he kind of becomes the person that would do that on the verge of his 30th birthday, on the verge of like having to make a choice whether he continues to pursue the art that he has tried to do for so long, or to be practical, without, again, and like Rent has all sorts of problems, and I don't like, I love it, but it's not good, because the people are not good, and yet seeing the person that was behind it was such an emotional experience for me. Every single musical piece was put together so well, and by far my favorite thing that any movie that implements any kind of music can do is where you set a dichotomy between like either happy music over a sad thing or sad music over a happy thing. And so when he and the girl in the one man show are singing back and forth at each other, like the scenes from a modern romance scene, that is then played out with his actual girlfriend as they're like kind of breaking up, was my favorite scene that I have seen in a movie so far this year.
Very cool. I think that's a great pick. And again, I do think if it wasn't Nick Cage's year for me for Best Actor, Andrew Garfield would certainly be the one that I want to win. And I still wouldn't be upset if he did, honestly. And I don't think Nick Cage is gonna get it. It makes me sad, which is why we gave it to him. But Chaz, what was your number one for this year?
Well, my number one is Dune, which is not really surprising. I don't. If anybody knows me, I don't think it's
Some
surprising.
gush.
But I mean, look, dude. I mean, it's
Wanted this. I know we can do a compilation of how much you've been talking about this movie.
I know it's my favorite director. And you know, when it was announced that he was doing this, I'm like, well, I got to read the book. So I read the book, finished it like 2 days before the screening, and just having it fresh in my mind and watching the movie, I'm like, this is a movie that people said was going to be impossible to adapt, and yet they got it as close as they could and like pulled it off, I think, you know. And I know a lot of the complaints are, you know, it just kind of ends, and but where it ends though, dude, I mean, it excites me more because I don't think people understand what what's in store, like what's to come. But that part of me also is open to the possibility of the second part not being as adaptable, maybe only because if you look at Warner Brothers history with two-parters, we have It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2, and the first Chapter 1 was, I thought, really reflective of like the nuance of the book, right, with the kids and stuff. But then they totally fucked up with the Chapter 2. So it could be possible that it's not going to be good, but I think there's enough love for the source material that like it will be cared for. So I'm excited.
Okay, you know, I respect that you stuck with your guns with this. Yes. That Dune will, and probably one of my favorite experiences was getting to take you over to see the Dune premiere and yeah, just watch your face. I wasn't watching the movie as much. I was just looking at you, just like, this kid's he's having the best time of his life right now, and like still art, which is cool.
Yeah,
which is why you win a free 4K copy of Dune.
Huh?
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't know. You don't win anything, but I'm going to give you one. But let's talk about the number one for me.
Yeah, what's yours?
It's Coda, baby. It's always going to be Coda. And I'm sorry if it wasn't the one that you thought, but it spoke to me just as much as Pig did, just as much as Tick Tick Boom did, and it hit right off the bat this year, and it hit me in such an emotional way. Like that scene with the father on the truck is, again, a scene that when I think of 2021 and some of the best moments in film history in that year, I will be thinking of Coda and that scene because it's just so powerful. You get to see something that, sure, we have been having movies like The Sound of Metal and other films that are dealing with deaf characters and like bringing ASL and things like that into the mainstream so that people can see it and explore it. And Hawkeye is even doing that a lot more with bringing in Echo and with what they're doing with her character. But Coda, I feel like, is maybe one of the most approachable for somebody that may be like, when you read the synopsis, you're like, I don't know, that family, this seems like it's going to be a drama. It might be too hard to watch. It's heartwarming. It's a coming of age story. And Emilia Jones is incredible. Seen Header was a terrific choice for director. And I know it might be the one. At least I didn't go West Side Story, right? Like that count for something.
Oh, yeah. Before we actually go into most anticipated of 2022, there are some pretty glaring omissions that I think when we were talking about most anticipated for 2021 this time last year, that I wouldn't be able to believe that didn't make any of our lists, and West Side Story is certainly one of them.
That is true.
Were we all actually disappointed? Did you actively dislike it? What's wrong with
I haven't
us?
seen it yet, so I can't have an opinion on this one.
I'll go for it. I actively disliked it.
But what?
I
so
actively disliked it.
I
remember at the end I was so mad.
Because I think I did too, but it looked prettier than the original. I love the original. I love musicals. Ansel, I'm not averse to him like some
Asshole
of
Elgort.
Letterboxd's Twitter. So why didn't we like it?
I think I can only speak for myself. And here's the thing: like, the film is so subjective that there could be a million reasons that each individual person
Sure.
does. My reasonings are very maybe they're surface and fickle, but there's way too much lens flare. It feels like I'm watching a Star Trek movie when I'm watching.
I loved the Star Trek movie too.
But like lens flare into darkness, where it's like, all right, now you're just doing this to make it so I'm blinded or I'm going to have an epilepsy episode because it's just so many flashing lights happening. It does look beautiful, but there's those things that to me just doesn't make it work. The dancing's great. Those are the things that you inherently think are going to be good. But when you break this story down, this dumb broad, it doesn't even her brother dies. Literally 5 minutes later, she has sex with the guy that killed him. And then
Shakespeare's storytelling.
Her boyfriend's, her brother's wife or girlfriend comes in and is like, "Why did you just have sex with the killer? That's bad." And she's like, "'Cause I love him." And then they just amicably say, "Okay." And they move to the next scene. And it's made 3 weeks maybe that she's known this guy, and she's totally cool with her brother dead. It made me so annoyed. And yeah, it's Romeo and Juliet, but if you're gonna do this again, if you're going to revamp it and there's some alterations, just go for it. Make it make more sense. Don't make it seem contrived and stupid. And it felt like that to me.
True love was also the hero of Matrix 4, and we didn't mention that one either.
3 weeks of knowing someone is not true love. Unless you're Mormon. Unless you're more then maybe if you're a BYU and you're a freshman, you might.
That's okay. That's two people wanting to have sex really fast, but they're
exactly.
True love.
That's what this movie was.
People can love each other. Believe in something.
Here's two people that went to a steak dance. You could totally do. You know what? Can we write the LDS West Side Story? It could be really easy. It wouldn't be difficult. He's the member of the priest quorum, but he's a deacon.
West Side Ward.
Oh my God. And there's so many people in that community that sing and dance and all that. It'd be pretty impactful. I know they've done the Book of Mormon, but let's do it, But Coda's my number one. And I've wasted a lot of time. I'm sorry.
No, dude, here's the thing though. You've stuck with that too since you saw that in Sundance.
Yes.
For the whole year, that's always been you've talked about it at least once a month every time we've gotten together.
Well, it's incredible, and it always helps that Sing Street was also one of my favorite movies that came out, I believe, in 2018. 2019.
Yeah,
earlier than that. I think
that guy is in the movie. He's in Coda.
Yep,
loved him, and I was sitting. It was a weird time because Sundance was virtual. I was sitting in here watching a Sundance movie in my pajamas, bawling, and thinking to myself, I could never bawl if we were in a theater with a ton of people, because it'd just be way too uncomfortable. And I could actually process feelings watching this movie. So not only was it overwhelming that I got to just experience a Sundance film in my room and like feel during it and still get a theatrical experience, but that like it just was so impactful in a way that no other film really was, and unless it was Tick Tick Boom or Pig. So those are our picks, and please let us know what you guys think. Comment down below, guys and girls. Let's move over to our most anticipated of 2022, and I'll say right off the bat, I'm gonna talk about Batman a lot in this one. This is the year of the Bat, in my opinion, and boy, I'm so excited for it. We don't really have to go through like a top 10. Maybe just list off like your 5, the ones that are most interesting to you. And
But what if we already have 10 picked out?
Then we'll start with you, Chaz. You list them up. Maybe we'll just go through all 10 in this case. How about that? Because there's no anticipation for like the number 1 on this. That was more for the. We're planning the show as we're doing the show.
Okay, well, number 1 is a movie that comes out in 2 weeks. Scream.
Nice.
I think that's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. And I like the directors that did Ready or Not, which I thought was a really under the radar gem when that came out.
Mm-hmm.
Then Netflix's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I don't have high expectations by any means, but I'm looking forward to it. And then, I'm sure we all have the Batman. Like, we're probably going to dive deep into that. The Northman, that trailer was released like a week ago, and I thought, dude, it looks dope.
Willem Dafoe shoots out from the Northman's boat. You like me, lobster?
Well, and then there's speculation that there might be like a connected universe with the Witch, because Anya Taylor-Joy's character isn't listed on IMDb, and she's dressed similarly. So
we're here to talk to you about the Devil Initiative.
Yeah, dude, I'm open to it. But anyways, I'll just hurry up with all these. The Black Phone, Mission Impossible 7, Thor, Halloween Kills, and Aquaman 2.
Sorry, wait, Black Phone? That's
yeah.
I got that trailer. I was somewhat excited about halfway through the trailer. Then it got stupid, and then I saw that it was getting like either a January or February release, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be trash.
But it's got Derrickson.
It has great it has what is it?
And
it has 100% Rotten Tomato as of right now.
And didn't they
have
did
more than
Sinister
4
together?
people
No?
seen it?
Yeah, 11 reviews.
Did Ethan Hawke and Scott Derrickson both do Sinister?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm in, because they haven't profitable, like a good track record.
Yeah, and it's Ethan Hawke being like a villain for once instead of like a good guy. It's like Paul. Dude, imagine if Paul Rudd did it. I'd be like, what?
I don't know. Yeah, that would be rough. We can go through. Let's go through Cole's, and then we'll discuss it. Both yours.
I mean, we hit a lot of the same ones, right? There's some crossover, because the problem with most anticipated is it's gonna be all the franchise fare and names that we recognize. Like,
yeah.
And they're the ones that end up being like 20 through 40 on my actual year-end enjoyment list, but sometimes one will hit. So like you mentioned Scream, I've got Scream. You mentioned the Batman, I've got Batman. You've got Thor. I have Mission Impossible 7 because I think 6 was the best one so far, and we got the same team coming back. Nope, because I'm always down for whatever Jordan Peele is going to churn out for us.
Nope was the thing, yeah.
Top Gun is coming back. Doctor Strange, because you have the Sam Raimi of it all, and the fact that the post-credit scene of Spider-Man No Way Home, like there's a mid-credit scene, but the post-credit scene was just a straight-up trailer for this. Is what you need to know. Like, this whole movie, sure, it was like the end game of Spider-Man, and it was the origin story of this Spider-Man like venturing out into his unknown and not being Iron Man Jr., but also it's setting up the multiverse to be the next great MCU thing. So Doctor Strange has to be the number 1 MCU thing that I'm looking forward to. I love Spider-Man, so Morbius is on my list. There's Avatar 2 is technically slated for 2022. Guys, anybody?
Technically.
Yeah, that's on the list. At
Hasn't
this
that been on
point,
the
if
list
it's
for
like 10
20
years,
years?
but it's not on the
Yeah.
top. Like, I don't have it. Are you guys ordering yours? Like, is it actually in order of most anticipated to, or is it just in there?
Calendar year, just kind of like when January to December.
Yeah, just the
That's
first
what I was
when it's
thinking too.
released. Yeah.
hmm
Cool. Well, I think those are
Well,
good picks. Did you have others?
So, and number one is I didn't even realize that this is what it was going to be called, and so the anticipation got dialed up even more. I was in the theater on Christmas Day watching Sing 2 with the family, and that one didn't make my top 10 for this year. But the best moment of that movie was when I got a trailer for Across the Spider-Verse Part 1.
Yeah.
Up until this
Yeah.
point, we were getting like Miles's like 2 fingers up in that, and it was supposed to be like, Into the Spider-Verse 2. No, the title is Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. So that means we're gonna get a part 2 later on. It's gonna be setting up something even cooler. And Spider-Man is my favorite. Obviously, I had this one in this year, and I think Across the Spider-Verse has a chance to be actually in my top 10 when 2022 is all said and done.
Very cool.
Do you guys should we have like a betting pool to see which ones get pushed back due to COVID?
I don't know, man. They made $1 billion during the height of the Omicron variant. Like, they might not give a shit anymore now.
I don't think they do really.
If it's any indication from when we went to Matrix Resurrections, they don't give a about. Yeah, like they will cram you like sardines still. Like, don't tempt them; they'll do that.
That many people actually wanted to see The Matrix 4?
Frustrating, man. They had so many people because they were doing giveaways and free slushies, and like they were really shelling out big for people. And then everyone left kind of like, okay.
I mean, Top Gun was originally a 2020 that got pushed back to 2021.
That was pushed back a lot too. Well, and the Batman was pushed back. That was supposed to come out this year.
Well, that's okay, dude. That trailer looks sexy.
The Bat and the Cat. Oh man, yeah. Better as good a chemistry as Keaton and Pfeiffer. Already, you can kind of see that. I'm really interested. All right, so let's go through. I won't go through the ones that you guys have on this, except for the Batman is my number one. I'll go backwards on this. The Incredible Weight of Massive Talent with Nicolas Cage looks crazy.
Yeah,
because he's playing himself and doing whatever. Like, I'm always down for whatever he's up to. I am very curious. I don't know if it's anticipated because like it's the most bracing myself for movie, Wakanda Forever. I don't know how this is going to work. And I don't think anybody knows how this is going to work. So I don't know if it's like anticipated, like I'm really excited for it. I'm just the most curious about it and interested to see where they're taking that, especially with all of this Letitia Wright business that's been going on. We're hearing where she's not in the MCU anymore, whether she is or isn't. Is she going to take on the role of Black Panther? What they were doing from this point on, it's a lot of questions up in the air. And I also agree that Nope was in my list as well, Across the Universe. And John Wick Chapter 4 is coming out this year too. I'm surprised nobody's talked about this.
Didn't get pushed back? I think I got pushed back to 2023.
No.
Like that was just news like last week. Yeah.
It did get moved. I didn't look close enough. All right, then Creed 3. Let's switch it to Creed 3. Directing Michael B. Jordan, first time directing. And so he's taking on the mantle of Sylvester Stallone, filming his stuff. Whether this will be Rocky 5, we'll find out. Maybe Mr. T's son's gonna show up. He's like, I want to fight you. I pity you, fool. No,
I haven't. I did.
Wow,
I saw one Rocky
was
film,
so
and I was
empty.
just like,
nobody wanted to save me from that one, huh?
I'm not a huge fan of Rocky. I don't know how it's a huge franchise. I'm so happy people think punching is fun in a ring.
Dude, come on, man. I'm interested in The Flash. Andy Muschietti, speaking of it, he's helming this. This is kind of their big multiversal thing, and it, honestly, the DC universe did it first. They did this multiverse stuff on the CW on a smaller scale, but they did it first. So I'm very interested to see what they're going to do with their Justice League, with Michael Keaton coming into this. I get my Batman, like my childhood Batman is coming back on the screen, and that's pretty amazing. I don't care if it's for money. Toby and Andrew got lots of money too. I don't know if you thought that they weren't getting paid and it was just going to be a passion thing. No. They got a dump truck full of money to do what they did.
How high are your expectations for Keaton?
Oh, well, here's the thing. He's so damn confident, man. He's doing all these interviews being like, yeah, I'm Batman again. And it feels good. Like, he's like, yeah, it's me again. And I'm very excited for that. And he's going to be in Batgirl too, which is only HBO Max, though. This isn't going to be an actual, whatever. And J.K. Simmons is in that. So, other than that, they're pretty much similar to your guys's. I mean, Jurassic World Dominion's coming. Whether we like it or not, we had that little intro clip that they have.
I like the feathers.
Visually looked great. Yeah, visually it looked really cool. But at this point, like, any movie can do good visuals if they've got a visual effects budget. You know, like if they got a good budget, you can make anything look beautiful. But these stories have been lackluster to say the least for the new trilogy.
The budget is the same as Dune.
Okay, well,
the quality will be the same as Dune, is what I just heard.
Nah, this movie will be finished when it's over. It won't be. A dinosaur won't turn around and be like, "You just wait, what's coming," and then it'll end.
Unless Colin Trevorrow gets fired again.
Big dinosaur on the top of the house with the lightning striking behind him from Jurassic World 2. Great scene. Like, it was my desktop background for a while. So,
and
there's that.
It falling through the glass in slow motion. I'm like, well, that's kind of badass.
Yeah.
For that 5 seconds of a bad film.
And then there was 2.5 other hours of a movie.
Yeah.
But
anyone excited for this Lightyear film too?
No.
Pixar.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not excited at all. I don't care. It's just Disney trying to profit off of Toy Story. Which, here's the thing, dude. Toy Story should have ended with Toy Story 3. Toy Story 4 was good, but did we need it? No.
No.
See, and I don't think Toy Story 4 was. I wouldn't say good. I'd say like bottom 5th, like bottom 3 Pixar ish. Like, yeah, Toy Story 3. We talk about people that are exactly my age, which there's statistically a couple people out there, right? I turned 30 in a couple weeks, and so Tick Tick Boom is important to me. It also means I graduated high school in 2010, which was the summer that Toy Story 3 came out. So Andy was leaving off to college and leaving his toys behind the same summer that I was leaving off to college and leaving my toys behind. And so I bawled openly in the theater with no shame watching Toy Story 3. And then I saw them get dug up for Toy Story 4, and now we have to see like the real life Chris Evans voiced origin story of who we based a toy out of.
When Toy Story 3 came out, I had gotten my wisdom teeth removed for the mission, because you had to get those out if you were gonna go do all that stuff. And I was delirious, and I got in my car and drove to the candy store and got a ton of candy, and then wandered into the theater. And it was the first movie I saw alone, and like just laughed maniacally when they were going into the fire.
Oh no.
Laugh. Kids were crying all around me, and I just was laughing so hard. It didn't work out for that. Yeah, those kids probably had a horrible experience, and I do feel bad for that. But Toy Story and me, we got some fun memories. We got some fun trips. But that's, I guess, that's our 2022 and our wrap up of 2021. And I would like to thank Cole and Chaz for both coming, talking to me about this stuff, and Chaz specifically for this whole year. Again, we're doing an episode right now. There has been a gap. Let's be honest. There's a gap that it's enormous. But
the last one we did was like Halloween, I think.
Yeah, when I was pulling through the stuff, it was the Halloween episode. We were doing a Halloween Kills review, dude. That was the last one that we did.
Wait, Halloween Kills wasn't in your top 10 though?
It's in my top 15.
Well, it's Halloween Ends. That's what the next one is. Isn't it?
Halloween
I was making a joke because it was bad, but apparently
I think it's the return. I think it's the Empire Strikes Back of Halloween.
Oh my goodness! All right, Chaz, where can the people follow you to refute that business?
Twitter, your boy Chazzy.
Sweet. And Cole, thank you again for joining in. We're gonna do an in-person soon once this whole variant stuff gets. When we feel like we want to get sick, we'll just do it, right?
Yeah.
Because I think we all just have to just be like, yeah, we'll bite the bullet.
I'll get a couple boosters that morning, and we'll talk movies.
Right? Where can the people follow you and all your reviews?
At Cole Wissinger is my Twitter, and then Inquamag, INQUAMAG.com is where the written stuff is at.
Very cool, my friend. Well, both of you, thank you so much. I'm very excited for this next year of movies and talking about them. Of course, check us out, Gaggle of Geeks, and on patrickbeattyreviews.com, where you can listen to the podcast. Thank you to Anchor for always, having the free sponsorship button that you can click on to get like 2 cents for it. Subscribe to the Patreon too. There's all kinds of stuff happening there. And thank you again so much as always for watching, and we will see you at the next review.